So I'm like, well, what's the cause of my avoidant personality? And I think it's just like a culmination of all like my life experiences that I keep replaying this tape in my head over and over and over that prevents me from seeing outside of that bubble. Okay, so what do I think? First off, thank you for the click. I appreciate you being here. I just wanted to get something off my chest real quick, and try to figure out, not so much figure out anything right in this moment, but to just talk through and think through the reasons why. And I think maybe a lot of people with anxiety go through this, where they're not sure of the cause of something, and just thinking of the cause of something and why something is the way that it is can be a big part in like the turmoil and the anxiety that we go through as people with anxiety. Like, why do we have this fear? Why do we have this anxiety? What is the root cause of this? And for me right now, I'm thinking, okay, what is the root cause of my avoidant personality? And by thinking of that question and hoping to come up with an answer, I think, I hope that there's like a cure. Like, by finding the answer or thinking of the answer, that there might be a cure or a way that I could figure out how to cure myself, or to figure out, why do I act this way, behave this way? What behavioral patterns do I have, and where do they come from? I want to avoid them as much as possible, because being avoidant and not very social and anxious and fearful that, you're always going to do the wrong thing is shitty. I mean, it is, because, you're always thinking that you're doing something wrong in any social situation. You don't want to go out. You don't want to, put yourself out there, because there's always that fear of being judged. There's always that anxiety in the back of your head. Like, people are going to look at me funny. People are going to think that I'm weird. And I don't want to put myself in that uncomfortable situation, because I don't want to feel weird, and I don't want people to judge me. I want to be looked at in a good light. I want to be friends with people. I want to not be judged, and I don't want to care about what people think. And there's certain days where, it comes and it goes, where like I don't feel judged, and I don't feel like people are actually, mean or whatever. And so really, I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the root cause. And I don't know if my experience would help any of you. I don't know if sharing what I went through and why I think I am the way I am, and how I got avoidant personality and like extreme social anxiety, if it's going to help and any of you can relate. I hope that if you can relate to any part of this story, that you would let me know in the comments, so that we can connect, so that we can vibe, so that we can begin to like build this like community type, or this, at least this relationship between just you and me. Because as you know, as someone with some kind of anxiety disorder or avoidant personality, you fear connections, but it's like one of the things that you crave like the most. It's like, I want to be connected with people, and I'm a social creature. I know that like humans are social people, or humans are social beings, but if you have like this fear of being social, then how can you fulfill on that, or how can you step in that, walk into that? So, I mean, when I was a kid, like, one of the biggest things for me was I was always afraid of being judged, looked at negatively. And that didn't start till like, I think it was like 6th grade. I think it's probably when the time everybody starts to like hit puberty, or, maybe you start forming cliques or groups, or you start getting peer bonding. I don't know if that begins prior to, or if that begins, like at the same time as puberty, where you start to feel like you're a part of something, a part of groups, a part of cliques, a part of, squad. I never felt like I was part of a squad. I know that from like, well, there was an incident that happened way when I was young. Maybe that's a story for another time. Like, from, I know 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 4th grade, 5th grade especially, like, I didn't have very many guy friends. I wasn't interested in football in the playground. I mean, I tried to play, but I never really felt like I fit in. I always felt like I was this outsider, and, picked last, wasn't very athletic. I just didn't feel like I was one of the guys. Didn't feel like I was, I just felt different. I just felt like I was different. And I just felt like maybe I was connected to girls more. Not that I did, quote unquote female things, whatever that means. But from theories that I've read, there's this peer bonding, and if you're not connected to the same gender, then then maybe there's a tendency for you to go a certain way, or what came first, the chicken or the egg? I really don't know. And that's kind of the part that bothers me, is if I don't know, then how do I address the root cause? How do I, do I just keep going and spinning my wheels and thinking everything's okay? And I don't know. I probably spin my wheels more often than not just by thinking of the root cause, but not being bonded to a bunch of guy friends. I think that was part of the cause. And then when puberty hit, and I even think before puberty, I was just attracted to dudes. Always dudes older than me. Always dudes, not my peer group. I've always kind of like rejected my peer group, guys or girls. Like I from, again, like puberty on, like junior high, I remember like prom being not fun. Like I got anxiety with this girl I was going with to prom, and when we were in the car afterwards going over to, I was with a group of friends, and we were in the car going out to dinner. I think I stepped on one of the girls' toes, like someone else's girlfriend's toes, in the car on accident, and really messed up her feet. It's not funny, because it really hurt, and I know she was in pain like the rest of the trip to Baker Square, and it's not funny, but it sucks because that's a memory that sticks out in my head, like, man, I really hurt this person. And then from there, it's like, what else can I do wrong that's going to prevent me from fitting in with my peer group? Like, what else could I do? Because I already feel like I don't fit in. So is there anything else that I could do to screw this up, to not have friends? And I just kept doing that over and over and over, it seems, throughout my life. So, there's the prom, and then there's, going from grade school, where I wasn't really friends with anybody, but I at least knew everybody. Like, where I went, it was a Catholic school, and there was two groups, split into two groups. It was 30 kids in this class, 30 kids in the other class. And that was the same thing from kindergarten through 8th grade. And then from there, I went to a public school. Like, I didn't know anybody. I knew some people from outside activities going into high school, but I didn't know anybody from grade school when I was going into high school. Like, and it was a completely different, like, environment from a Catholic grade school out in the suburbs to, like, a lower income part of town where I was going to high school. Just a different mentality, a different group. I'm thankful for my high school education and where I went, and having it be a little bit adverse and diverse, because I got exposed to different cultures and different groups of people. But at the same time, it's culture shock, like, where you don't know anybody, like, you're just a fish out of water. And I suppose that's true from grade school to high school, and then from high school to college, and then college to the real world. Like, we're always a part of, from one fishbowl to the next, you're just jumping, and you're like a small fish in a big pond, and that's like, you're always starting over. Part of me is like addicted to that starting over, like you get to rebuild yourself. You get to, like Madonna, like, she transforms herself, Madonna. Maybe I'm dating myself here, but like, you get to reinvent yourself however you want. It's scary because you're like, who the fuck am I? I know I keep swearing, and swearing's not typically me, but F it, whatever. So there's all that, and then not being super social because of all those things that I keep telling myself that prevents me from being social. It really just compounds, and it gets me thinking, like, what if I never find out the answer of why I might have this avoidant personality? And it's more fun and more convenient to just not be. It's not fun, it's more convenient, and it's less stressful to just keep yourself in your own bubble. But at the same time, again, I lose out on the experiences of being connected with people when I stay in my shell and stay in my bubble. So I'm like, well, what's the cause of my avoidant personality? And I think it's just like a culmination of all, like, my life experiences that I keep replaying this tape in my head over and over and over, that prevents me from seeing outside of that bubble, and causes me to, this, like, it's like programming. If you know programming, you can get into a loop, like this loop that just goes over and over and over, and the code keeps reading the same thing over and over and over, and it's hard to get out of that loop. It's hard to get unstuck. And so, I think I got to introduce something, and I often do. Like, I don't suffer with avoidant personality constantly. It's something I try to get better at and improve on, just to, be more social, to make more connections, to network, to all that. And it's active. It's an active participation. But, You know, I have to inject those types of things more often, being more social, reaching out, making more phone calls, making more videos like this, seeing who else goes through this. And that's another thing, like community is big. Like, I know that if I think about what caused this and don't reach out to people who might also be dealing with this like I am, then it prevents me from building that community and relationships with people. Because you know what, guys and girls, I think my phone's ringing or something's vibrating. There are a lot of people who go through things like this. Like, we are not alone, and having YouTube and social media that helps us, it's vibrating like a mother. I don't know what's going on, but I'll wrap this up quick. You know, we need to connect. We need to be community. Let me know if any of this resonates with you, if you have gone through this, if you've experienced avoidant personality to the point where it just keeps you at home. Did you go to a Catholic grade school? Let me know your story. Like, what do you think caused your avoidant personality? Any of this resonate with you? Did you like get extreme culture shock from going from one place to the next, like not by your choice? I didn't have any choice about grade school to high school, but I had to do it because that's just where I had to go to high school and where I went to grade school. So let me know what resonates with you. Let me know about your story, your history, your path. Yeah. And we'll talk soon, man. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.